what is your earliest childhood memory? This is a tough one. I can go first if you want some time to think about it.
Yeah, you go, because sometimes it's so hard to parse out what is really truly something that you remember versus something that your family has told you.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Because like there's family lore and there's family stories.
Because like I can think of several cute stories from when I was like 2, but I don't think that I really remember.
Yeah, so I'm looking for like the moment of consciousness.
Thank
you. Sorry, guys, it's been a long day for your boy. You just gotta bear with me. I'm struggling.
Yeah. That's hard.
I can give you mine.
Okay.
And then you can think about it.
Okay.
This is weird because one, I have a terrible memory.
You do.
But like 2, I think this is a real memory, but it's like it comes in fragments.
Mm-hmm.
But my first like memory, like I remember the feeling, sensory, is sitting in the ocean in a life preserver while my friends are fishing around me on my 9th birthday deep sea fishing trip.
That's your first memory at 9?
I was 9. And surely I have like other flashes, but when I'm talking about, I remember this like I would watch a movie. Like I have it locked in. So I was so seasick on this trip. Okay, we got to go back to the beginning. So my dad, I'm from the Cayman Islands, if people don't really know. My dad is a pretty big fisherman. I wouldn't say he's a huge fisherman. Like we didn't go every weekend, but he liked it.
Yeah.
He liked it a lot more when he was a kid. So for some reason, I don't know and this is debated, if I asked him to do this or if he planned this as a birthday party. This is still a hotly debated topic.
Okay.
I don't think in my wildest dreams I would have ever planned to go on a deep sea fishing trip because I'm not really an outdoorsman. My brother is more of the outdoors. He got all he's the big fishing guy. And I'm fine with fishing, but I'm not chomping at the bit to go fishing. Right. And all that aside, so we go out. The first like 10 to 15 minutes are awesome. Like some of the most fun I've ever had. We're going out past the reef. So the water's getting really choppy, but we're all like riding the waves. And as the boat is moving, I'm fine. And then we get to the first fishing spot and the boat is not moving. It's anchored, but it's pitching and hawing, man. And within 5 minutes, I had thrown up twice off the side.
Aww.
Like miserably, like I was so sick. So we finish at the one spot. And then we're going to another. And I'm like, oh my God, we got to keep doing this. Because a deep sea fishing trip is like an all day thing.
Yeah.
Like you don't. Yeah. So we went out.
My sister did that for a birthday once. I did not go.
Your sister went on a deep sea fishing trip?
Yes. And it got canceled.
Because of the weather?
Because of the weather. Yeah. And it got postponed by like a year.
And
then they finally did it. No. And then they went and like her friends. And then I wasn't there, so I don't really remember, but somebody on the boat, like as soon as they got out far enough, somebody had like a medical emergency.
Oh, no way. It wasn't like a
and they had to turn right back. I don't remember if it was just very severe seasickness or if I remember correctly, they had to turn the boat around. And so she never actually got to do any real fishing.
I'm convinced.
They spent like 3 hours on a boat just going out and back.
The best way to waste your time and money is to take a child on a deep sea fishing. Like I don't understand it. Anyway, we're going to the second spot and my dad clocks me in, is like, okay, he's not doing too well. And like everybody's coming up to me, but they gave me a Sprite and I threw the Sprite up over the side. It was not good. So at the second spot, my dad goes, you got to get in the water. And mind you, we're out like past the reef.
Past the reef, yeah.
Like in Cayman,
it's a drop off.
It is deep.
It's the Cayman Trench.
Well,
correct?
we weren't over there.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Even where we were was very deep, like 60, 70 feet down.
Cayman goes from shallow, edge of the reef, boom.
And that's awesome. That's a really cool.
It's cool, but it's also
terrifying. Anyway, we're not that far out. I don't remember exactly where we were, but we had some depth to us, but we weren't like abyss beneath us anyway. But anyway, I'm 9. I'm still like, I don't really want to go in the water. My dad's like, it's the only way that you're going to feel better. And at that point, I'm so sick. I would have let them hang me upside down from the rafters. I have never like felt that bad in my life. My whole vision is swimming. So they throw a life preserver in and then I'm like, I'm in. Now in my head, I'm thinking, okay, 20 minutes. They're just going to let me sit out here and recover a little bit. And next thing I know, there's lines coming in next to me. They chummed the water. They're continuing to do the fishing trip, and I'm sitting there, and I'm literally in Cayman. You can see down, so I've got
there's like
a mask
fish
on,
all around
and
you?
I'm looking at all these, and I'm like,
and those are big fish
dude,
out there.
I'm 9. The only thing I'm thinking about is I'm gonna get eaten. Shark. Literally. And so I've got the Sophie's choice of, do I get back on the boat and continue to throw up everything I've eaten for the past 2 years, or do I sit here and potentially lose an arm and a leg to a barracuda or a shark? And for some reason, I have just the most vivid memory of that. I remember looking down and seeing the fish swim underneath me, and like had all the lines around me and stuff like that. My dad caught a huge marlin on the way back, and we took a picture with it. And it's the funniest picture, dude. It is the funniest picture because my dad's there smiling. He's got his thumbs up, and I'm standing there just like half dead, like the skin is falling off of me. And we got home, and my dad tells my mom everything. And then this was when you had to go get pictures developed, right? Yeah. It was a film camera. So she goes to get the picture developed and hangs it on the fridge. Like, I love my parents, man, but they fumbled the bag on this one. Like it was so funny. But, I came out alive, and I honestly feel like that's my first like stamp of a memory. That's just, I will never forget that. Yeah. That is embedded in me. Yeah. So I think I've vamped for long enough.
I've got one.
You have one? Okay,
yeah.
Let's hear
well,
it.
and I had to kind of think about, because you have a notoriously poor memory.
It's horrendous, guys.
You remember nothing.
So bad.
I have a very good memory. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of had to think. I was like, okay, do I remember kindergarten? Yes. Do I remember preschool? Yes. Do I remember this?
Really?
And the earliest thing that I remember going to the hospital to meet my sister when she was born. I would have been 2.5.
Wow. No way.
Yeah, 100%. And my mom will vouch for me because she and I have talked about my memory of it.
That's crazy to me.
But I remember being at home, and my aunt came and stayed with us, my mom's sister.
Dude.
And I was like, where's mom?
Yeah.
Like, Sherry, love ya.
Where's
my mom? And also, side note, where's my dad?
Yeah.
Like, where did they go? I didn't really understand because I was 2.5.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think you're supposed to have memories at that point, because that could be like a traumatic experience for you.
But
like
I do remember
it. Gone for a couple of days.
I mean, as a 2-year, it was my aunt and uncle and like my grandma.
It wasn't random people.
Right. So I was like, this is super fun.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, my aunt and uncle live about 4 hours away. So, it was like, oh, this is exciting.
Yeah.
Right. And they'd been there for, I think, a couple of days. And then mom and dad like left because I think Elise was induced.
Okay.
But anyway, I remember going to the hospital and seeing mom and like cuddling in the bed with her, and I ate vanilla yogurt or vanilla pudding, excuse me. And I think the reason I really remember it is because Elise, the newborn baby, was thoughtful enough to get me a present.
Oh my God.
Because she was so excited to be my sister.
You just lived in that fantasy land.
It was a really cute little like play set.
Yeah, that your
like
parents
a Winnie
bought
the Pooh. Well, now I know that. I was again a toddler at the time.
The kid is making an Amazon purchase in the womb.
Amazon didn't even exist. She had to go to Toys R Us for this.
It's I was so like, funny.
Wow, so that's what she's been thinking about in mommy's tummy the whole time, is what to get for me.
What a wild thing that parents do to try and like explain.
And I loved it. I played with that Winnie the Pooh play set for like years and loved it. But I really do remember I remember unwrapping it in the hospital. I remember, eating that vanilla pudding in the hospital bed with mom.
So 2 for you, 2.5, and 9 for me. Now, if I really, really think about it, I think I could piece something else together.
I'm sure you remember your regular day in preschool.
I don't, dude.
You don't?
Babe. When I tell you, I don't know. I couldn't tell you my teachers' names.
I remember how excited I was when I was like line leader in preschool.
Dude. Oh my God.
And like mom wasn't there to tell me about that. You know what I mean? I remember that.
Another memory I have, and this was like when I was 10, was like swimming in the pool after the hurricane, and a piece of the roof from the school my school was destroyed in a hurricane. Mm-hmm. So we're swimming in the pool, and someone was doing work on the roof, and they threw a piece of the drywall into the pool, and we got to play with it.
I remember losing my first tooth.
I don't remember
on
any
the
of that.
playground in preschool.
I do not remember any of that.
Yeah, I freaked out. I was 4.
I don't know why that is. My mom has a bad memory. Not really.
No, she does not.
She doesn't.
She has a great
Does
memory.
my dad have a bad memory? Maybe.
I think it's medium.
Anyway, I have a horrendous memory. I'm doing what I can to try and get better with it. But like, I think it's two different things. Like, I have a bad memory day to day, but I think that's because like my mind is always on.
I think you're just not
else.
paying attention to things.
But I don't have like a long-term memory. Like, I don't remember any of these moments.
Well, so if you're not paying attention,
well, there you go. I'm not
you
coding the
can't
memory.
code the short-term memory. If you don't
Truth.
code a short-term memory, you can't code a long-term memory.
That
so
is
it's a chain of
true.
events.
Yeah.
You're just not, a lot of times you're not locked into the moment.
Anyway, I remember that fishing trip, man, and I will never, ever let my dad live that down.
You talk about it a lot.
I roast him on that
You do.
all the time.
You do. And he's like, it was a great time.
Yeah, my
we
dad
had fun.
to this day is like, that was a great birthday.
He
I don't know what you're
stands
talking
by
about.
it. He
I'm like,
does.
Oh my God.
You know what? He sticks
So
to his guns.
funny.
I respect it.
That was big. My parents were big birthday people when we were younger. Like they would go all out for the birthdays. So like for that, even if he in his heart of heart knows it was a terrible thing, he's never going to admit to it because that would ruin the birthday resume.
Everybody had fun except for you.
Dude, literally.
You remember it though.
Fun. I do
you
remember
can't say you don't remember it.
I do remember it. Man, if you guys have memories earlier than that, please tell me because I'm afraid to be the outlier here. I think I am.
I think you are.
Like most people I talk to
I mean,
like,
people remember Christmas mornings from when they were a kid. Like you don't remember like what you were excited to open from Santa at 5 years old?
No. I remember watching the video that my dad took. And so I remember those moments, but like from an observer's perspective. Like I don't remember first person perspective of any of that.
Wow.
It's crazy.
That is crazy.
Like I know, I got a GameCube for, Christmas when I was 11. I know that and I remember that, but I remember that from my dad's camera's perspective.
Wow.
Like there's a home video of him coming in through my bedroom and I'm sitting there playing Mario Sunshine on my bed.
I've seen it.
And I don't remember looking at the screen, but I remember that angle. It's so weird.
That is weird.
So weird. Anyway, that's memories, man. Memory's a weird thing. We'll talk more about memory because I think it's just fun and it can help a lot with health and fitness too. But
well, and I think just general well-being supports a good memory in the long term. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of research that people are doing about like, dementia prevention research, but like what the impact of diet is on long-term health and the impact of certain micronutrients. And there's a lot of pharmacological research as well, which is interesting.
There's been 2 studies recently. We talked about creatine a couple episodes ago. There's been 2 studies, like creatine being neuroprotective.
Really? I've not read those.
I mean, they're very
new, small
sample sizes. So it's like we can't make huge judgments, but that's encouraging research.
Yeah. That's great.
So I wanted to discuss a little bit before we get into the fitness question. I wanted to discuss the deceiving power of comparison.
Ooh,
because I find
deep.
like it's a little deep, but I think it's really important because I coach a lot of people and in my own personal life, trying to navigate the fitness journey in a context of social media and specifically comparing yourself to everyone on social media.
What a joke.
It's so funny because you can know that these people are either on steroids, they're massively editing their pictures, they're taking their pictures at times that are advantageous for themselves, like early morning
before they've eaten,
so they look a little bit leaner. Maybe they're dehydrating to get a little bit more of that like paper skin look. They're in great lighting. Like you can know all of that stuff in your head, but then you can look at the picture on the screen and say, man, I'll never get to that level, or how,
well, you won't because it's not real.
But there's something that tells you like, oh, maybe I can't, So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. I wondered what your perspective on that was because you're outside of the fitness space, but I'm sure that you still compare yourself to.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, just like general like celebrities.
Who is it for you? Who are the people that you kind of see that you're like, you know what? I wish I had that body, or I wish I had that skin, or whatever.
Well, I saw a reel yesterday. You're going to laugh. I saw a reel yesterday. It was everything I knitted in March.
Oh, geez.
And this girl knitted like 8 sweaters in March.
So you're not comparing physical stature.
I used to more. Yeah. I really did.
When we were younger, I think.
Just like the classic, like, you know, thin, like models, like Kendall Jenner is a person who I would love to look like. And just like, you know, the covers of magazines and different celebrities. Again, I've never had great skin. And I've always been insecure about the bags under my eyes, the dark circles. So I always would fixate on that and like, man, that person doesn't have dark circles like I do. And don't they look so much better than me? I mean, every picture of somebody that I would look at, I would see, do they have dark circles? No, nobody does like I do.
That's so crazy. Because like that, for me.
But they were all Photoshopped.
Yeah. Well,
like
that's
now I know that. But when I was 15, I didn't think about that really.
Let's just go ahead and to everybody watching this. There is nothing that you see in print, online, anywhere,
social media,
unless you are looking at the person standing next to you, that is real.
But even if you're like in person at a photo shoot, that's still not real.
No, I'm saying take them to the pool, get them dunked in the water, and then look at them. That is what they actually look like.
Yes.
Which is fine. I'm not saying that that's a problem.
Right. That's what people naturally
You have to come to that image with that in your head. Yeah. But the problem is, like, even if you have that in your head,
very hard.
Emotionally, we still are like, man, I really wish I could look like that. Mm-hmm. Like, I see this a ton. It's so weird because when we were growing up, I think the print media was still pretty big. Yeah. And like influencers were just coming on the scene.
Influencers were not a thing when we first got social media.
No, not when we first got social media, but when we were like 15, 16, 17, like graduating high school, going to college, it was just starting.
Was it? I had no idea.
I think so. Like the not influencers that we know now. Who are making jobs out of influencing. But like people gaining massive social media followings.
Okay.
The initial influencer, if you will. Right. Okay. So when we were younger, I think a lot of people were concerned about the effect of that on young females. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. Because men do the same type of comparison, but I think it was easier.
I think women were reading magazines more. Exactly. Yeah.
So it was easier to see a one-to-one correlation. Right. Between like, who's consuming In Style or whatever the hell the name of the magazine is.
Mostly women
at that time, who is having body composition issues, disordered eating in a lot of ways, low self-esteem, a lot of women.
More likely to be women.
So they were putting the correlation together. Now, and this could just be my bias towards the one sphere that I'm in, the bodybuilding sphere. Young men are intensely gripped in this comparison issue because I think that there's this connection between having the body that you want and being the person that you want to be. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like bodybuilding companies and supplement companies have done really well with their marketing to where it used to be like the beer ads. Like if you're drinking a Heineken, you've also got, twins that are going to sleep with you and you're the sportsman, like in the early 2000s, bodybuilding and supplement companies, that's all they do.
Okay.
It's like, if you're ripped and you got big biceps, there's girls lining up outside, man. You're going to be the man. You're an alpha male. Like that's.
Yeah.
So now on Instagram, 15, 16-year-old dudes that are either super skinny or dealing with weight issues, like they'll see that and say, I need to be that. I need to. And so that then leads them to taking tons of compounds, SARMs, in some cases anabolic steroids, to kind of get that way and completely ruining their lives. Right?
Yeah.
So that's just and surely there's still the issue with women.
There is.
It's not a gendered issue. It's a human issue. But in my space specifically, I see it more presented in men. Mm-hmm. So that,
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that everybody deals with. And I think that people deal with comparison in all aspects of their lives. I mean, not just with physique.
Yeah.
I think like, man, they are so much better at this, craft than I am. Or, this person that I work with is just so perfect all the time. Like my work will never measure up to theirs. And like, how do they do it? Or... It's, even with, I wish I lived in the house that this person lived in or drove that car. I think that it's just something that all people struggle with. Which is a really tough thing to break.
I find myself definitely, like my initial thought is a comparison thought. But I read a book that I didn't really love, but I think the fundamental core of it's called The Infinite Game by Simon Sinek. SINEK, if you want to read it. It's basically 300 pages of the same point being made over and over again. That's why I didn't love it.
A little redundant.
But the point was very good.
And what was the point?
The point is, so the infinite game is you can have two mindsets. You can have a finite mindset or you can have an infinite mindset. And the finite mindset says, if they have this body, if they have this many clients, if they have this great talent for public speaking or whatever, I cannot also have that.
Like a zero-sum game.
Exactly. There's only so much. If this person has it, it will take it away from me.
Yeah.
We don't live in a world like that.
Right.
So having an infinite mindset then leads you to be able to look at a picture of somebody with a great physique and be able to honestly and compassionately say, you've got a great physique, man.
Good for you.
Without any jealousy or any type of comparison. And this is a very, very hard thing to do. Very, very difficult. I find myself as a coach meeting wonderful people who are also coaches or personal trainers. And I know they know what they're doing and they're on the goal. They have the goal of helping people make body composition changes the same way that I do. So shouldn't I feel good for them when they get a client? But my initial thought is most of the time, damn.
Man, why didn't they pick me?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then obviously I do a lot of work on myself to have my second thought be, you know what? They are going to have the change that they want to experience. We work in a client-centered business. I'm glad that they've decided to make a choice, even if it's not with me, right?
Yeah.
But the initial first thought, the little primal brain in me is like, dude, you should have come and worked out with me. Now you're not gonna, And I think that if you polled everybody,
I think
that
everybody's
works
that
in
way.
some kind of sales job or that loses out on a sale, they're gonna have the exact same experience. But it's up to us to take that initial thought and say, no, they're still going to have a great experience with that coach. And if they don't, there's another opportunity for them to come and work with me or to work with somebody else that may fit them better. Because if there's one thing I've learned coaching, is that even if you're a great coach, which I am, and everybody that I know in the coaching circles is a good coach, personalities can not mesh.
I think we were talking about that the other day of like finding the right service provider for you, like the right doctor for you, the right hairstylist for you, the right coach for you.
Because we specifically for coaching, like we're in a business. If the personality's great against each other, it's not.
There has to be a level of trust between you and your coach, and like just a level of like vibing with each other, so to speak.
It's true.
It really is.
Like I've had,
and
great
you're not going to have that with everyone.
I've had great experiences with a lot of people, and I've had pretty bad experiences, not bad, but subpar experiences with some people. And it's because our personalities didn't match. Yeah. It was not because they didn't do the work or I didn't provide the right work. It was just because couldn't talk about anything in a session and they were bored, or I didn't, our communication styles, I was a little bit too sarcastic for them or whatever.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But I think that having that infinite mindset helps when you miss the client or when you miss the whatever, when you don't have the physique that somebody else does.
Yeah.
The other thing that I wanted to talk about is like a lot of people don't recognize the power of genetics.
Yes.
Like we have done a disservice to people in our salesmanship of like trying to sell these bodies to people. Everybody's built with a different frame. Dude, you will never have the same body as somebody else. You won't. Your genetic makeup is different than that person. So I find that very empowering because for me, everybody is able to look their best. Right. That's what if you put in the work. Best. Right. But everybody's going to look a little bit different at the end of the day. That's the thing. Even if every person on earth was at their top physical level, everybody would still look completely different. And there would still be people we would objectively put at the top to say, wow, that's Herculean physique or whatever. That's not, it shouldn't be a value judgment. They've been blessed with incredible, like Chris Bumstead. That's one in a billion. You look at the classic physique of bodybuilding, and I always go through a bodybuilding lens because that's what I'm close to, right? Or you look at powerlifting. You look at this guy, Jesus Oliveras. He just destroyed the all-time world record. Raw, tested individual, meaning he doesn't do any steroids, absolutely smashed it. 22 years old. And he was just born with that potential. Born with that potential. Not to say he didn't put in a ton of hard work. 100%. But if I worked for my life at the same level that he did, I'd never be able to get there. Much less me. Can you imagine? Dude, exactly. So
I don't have that potential. That's okay.
But the thing that I want to make clear is like, that is a very freeing statement. That should allow you to then say, I don't have any pressure on me. I'm going to work my hardest to achieve my best results.
Right. Working against yourself.
Right.
Competing with yourself.
If there's one thing that I could get that I try and tell everybody that I talk to in terms of fitness and health is, do not look to somebody else's results and discourage yourself when your process does not look like their process. Because that is just a recipe for failure. I have done that. I wanted to quit powerlifting. I went and competed and everybody outlifted me. I was like, man, I'm in the wrong sport. I'm terrible at this. You know what? I'm still doing it because my goal is to continue to lift more weight than I did yesterday or last year or when I first started.
Right. Well, and you also can't compare yourself to other people because in account of experience, right? That was your first competition versus, some of those people probably this was like their 10th.
Right.
Right. And that's just not.
It's just not.
You
it's
can't
not fair.
compare that. Yeah. So it's just if you've done the best that you could that day with whatever you were dealing with outside of the competition, like an injury or things like that. I mean, you did the best that you can, and the next one will be even better, and the next one after that will be better than the second one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm 100% with you. I think that it's great to get competitive drive from seeing other people work hard, but it's on a knife's edge, man. Like you have to be very intentional with using that as fuel. Like all these people are always talking about, I use my haters as fuel, or, you're working hard, I'm working harder. That's okay. And a lot of people really get a lot of juice out of that, but it's on a knife's edge.
It's important to still be positive towards other people. Dude, yeah.
Because the minute that you start taking that even a little step further and you say, and you start tying your identity and your worth to your work ethic versus their work ethic, stuff comes up in your life, man. Like sometimes you're going to miss the gym. Yeah. Sometimes you're not going to sleep as much as you need to perform as well as the other guy that you're fighting against.
Yeah.
That happens. That cannot be your identity because the minute that comes crumbling down, it's over.
Yeah.
You don't get that back unless you really do some work to shift your identity. Dude, I'm sweating like crazy right now. I hate this springtime garbage, man.
I know.
I recorded a video earlier today, and it was right after I took a shower, and I looked like a wet rat. I swear to God, like I had to get
from the shower or because you were sweating?
Shower one, my hair wasn't fully dry. Okay. 2, 5 seconds into the video, I'm pouring sweat. And I'm sitting there, I'm looking at the monitor, I'm like, I gotta stop. I went and got a beach towel and just like dried off. I hate this.
All right, everyone, keep an eye out for that video. Jonah's going to be looking really hot.
It should be out in a couple weeks, so you'll be able to tell.
Oh, that's so funny.
All right, you got anything else on comparison? I think we hit it. I just want to leave people with this idea of just doing their best to focus on their own work.
And to take the time to be grateful for the journey that you're on and how far you've come already. I mean, I think that gratitude is such a powerful tool to get out of the comparison mindset.
A great point.
I mean, I have times when I, compare myself to other people and, I wish we, had this, or I wish we were able to do that. And it's like, well, you know what? I'm really actually grateful for the place where we live. I'm really grateful for, the relationships that I have in my life. Like just stopping in your tracks when you feel yourself going in towards an unhealthy mindset and saying, nope, I don't have that. I have this. And I'm so grateful for it.
Yeah.
Because, a year ago, I never would have imagined that I would be so blessed to have what I have right now.
Amen. That's a great point. The gratitude part of it is something I wasn't really thinking about, but that is such a good point.
It has done wonders for me because I am somebody who really used to compare myself a lot.
I think we both were.
Yeah, to other people's physical appearance or,
wealth,
money,
or, attitude, or like for me, a big one was attitude. Like, how can they deal with this stuff? I was very much like a negative person. So when I saw people with a positive attitude or an outlook, I would just beat myself up even more and be like, why can't I be like that?
Right. But to spin that towards, I'm really working on this and I'm so glad that I'm able to work on this and I'm already so much better than I was a year ago. And like, isn't that awesome?
For me, it's I'm thankful for the opportunity to get better at this. Like when I'm talking about the self-reflection stuff that I'm usually talking about, it's like, I'm not where I want to be. Isn't it great that I can recognize that and that I can continue to make changes?
Because that's growth.
Yeah, 100%.
The introspection there is a very, like the self-awareness.
Yeah.
Of that is very difficult to achieve. And it's the first step towards self-improvement, but it's really hard to make that first initial jump to the ability to even recognize that there's something that you would like to work on.
It's like we're talking about with memory when we started the podcast. It's like, I don't remember these things, right? So a lot of the times I will find a flaw in my character or I'll see someone do something better than I can do it. And I'll, in the moment, want to make a change, but then forget about it later. So, like, for me, the initial change starts with really, really thinking about this is something that I really want to change in my life, and then making an action plan and actually working towards it.
Yeah.
Man, great. That's a great conversation. I love that. I love that. Don't compare yourself to people, man.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
It's only going to hurt you.
It only hurts you. It only hurts you.
It's not helpful.
All right, let's talk about the big fitness question. So, again, Fitness Reddit, coming up with some good ones. How much walking should I do each day to lose weight effectively? I'm obese, and I'm a beginner to fitness. I started walking every day, and I've put myself in a calorie deficit, roughly 1,200 to 1,500 calories a day. Ooh.
Of a deficit, or they're eating that
I
much?
don't know. I think that's what they're eating.
Okay.
I don't keep very good track, to be honest.
It's okay.
Flag that. Eating healthy food, such as fruits and vegetables, almonds, beans, chicken. Nice. I can walk up to a maximum of 2 hours at a time before I feel like I'm going to collapse. Okay.
Before I feel like I'm going to collapse.
I've worked myself up consistently to walking an hour once or twice a day. While that might sound like all well and good, the problem is I get ravenously hungry and usually resort to binge eating, and the next day I gain a little weight. Okay, well, you don't, but...
It all evens out.
To avoid this, I'm thinking tomorrow I should try 30 minutes twice a day and see how the results go. But if I can keep walking up to an hour or 2 hours a day, maybe I should keep going. If you can offer any advice on this, I'd really appreciate it. I keep a log of how much weight I gained, lost, how much I'm exercising, how I'm doing with my food. But I binge every day. So if you have any further questions, let me know. I also have cheap smartwatch, which helps me stay on track.
Okay.
A lot of stuff to unpack here.
Yeah.
Let's originally answer the how much walking should I do each day to lose weight? What's your concept on this?
That's such an undefined question. That's an unmeasurable question.
With a lot of these questions that we get off of Reddit, it depends, or we need more information.
Well, there's not a goal stated. So like, how much walking do you need to do to lose weight? Well, if you keep your eating the same and you increase your steps by 500 in one day, you're burning more calories. So over time, you would lose weight.
Yeah, that's a great answer.
So what is the actual question?
Well, you need to do as much walking to increase your calorie deficit. If you are not taking any other intervention, any change in diet, any change in anything else, just to walk, you will need to figure out how much to get yourself into a calorie deficit. Yeah. Now, this guy,
there are some other factors going on here.
This person is not really concerned with walking. I think what's happening here is, and I feel very qualified to answer this question because I'm a person that loves to exercise. I love it. I've started running now for some unknown reason, but I'm actually really enjoying it.
It's fun.
But the issue that I seem to be running into is very similar to our friend here. I will run, and on days that I run, I will be so hungry. So it's absurd. I'll run for 30 minutes, and I'll be more hungry than if I did a squat, bench, deadlift day for 4 hours.
That is so funny.
I don't know why, but it triggers
I don't know why either, but it is true.
Hormonal or behavioral or whatever. Something's going on in me that when I come home from the run, I'm eating.
Yeah.
Right? So a lot of times, I think that this person has already had a good idea, which was kind of pare down the exercise. Because again, there was a really interesting point. 2 hours at a time before I feel like I'm going to collapse.
You don't need to work until you're going to collapse.
100%.
That's not necessary.
We're going to get... another disclaimer here. I'm not a psychologist. I'm just talking off of my own experience. But people that deal with obesity or binge eating have a tendency to punish themselves with exercise. I fall into this category. If I have a day where I've binged, the next day when I'm in the gym, you better believe
you're going for it.
I'm crushing myself, right? And I'm working on that.
Yeah.
Because it should not be that the scales need to be balanced between exercise and diet. They should both be on this side of trying to assist you in a body composition change, right?
Doing the best you can in both arenas.
You should not be fighting against yourself, right? And it should not be a punishment, first and foremost. But second of all, it's a great idea to kind of pare down, because it could be, if you are obese, 30 minutes a day, 2 times a day, is going to be very difficult for you. And you're going to burn quite a bit of calories having to move that amount of mass. So you need to find a way to exercise that's not going to trigger a bunch of ghrelin and a bunch of hunger hormones. And if it's behavioral, you're going to have to realize that just because you've exercised does not then entitle you to a binge, which is another thing that usually happens with us binge eaters. It's like, oh my God, let me celebrate whole pizza. It's like, pump the brakes, right? But also understand that if you eat or if you have a binge eating episode, just get back on the horse the next day. You don't have to do an extra 30 minutes.
Right.
Just stick to your 30 minutes and try again with your eating patterns the next day.
But I think it is smart to maybe pare down the exercise to a point where the hunger isn't totally unbearable. I've not, dealt with binge eating myself, but I do understand.
Well, you've dealt with me.
Yeah, I have dealt with you.
Binge eating patterns.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's, if you know that this is something that you're prone to, not having the dangerous or trigger foods.
Yeah, but the
where
issue
you can get to them.
The issue is sometimes, man, if you're
really, you just get fixated.
And you'll eat anything. It doesn't have to be the trigger food sometimes. Sometimes I'll sit there and I'll eat 14 tortillas. Bland ass tortillas, man. Like nothing on them. It's a problem. Like it's a behavioral problem, right?
Yeah.
So it's about balance.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you
trying to find foods that you can eat after your exercise that are high volume.
It is about changing the relationship with the food.
Yeah.
It really is. It's about saying, you know what, this food is not a reward. This food is not a pleasure center for me right now. This food is fuel.
Right. And it might be really helpful to talk to a dietitian or even a therapist who can help reframe those relationships with you.
Give you some strategies to be able to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people out there that are specifically trained in...
And I think that's very valuable.
Yeah.
I really kudos to you for trying to make a change. You're on the right path. Now it's just shaking down the details. But you've got the macro thing is making the decision and doing the exercise and trying to curtail some of your binge eating tendencies.
Well, and even a small change over time adds up.
Oh yeah.
Like I said at the very beginning, it's if you change nothing and you increase your steps by 500 a day, it'll be slow.
Yes, exactly.
But after doing that for a couple of months, you'll probably have lost a little bit of weight.
Exactly. I think we see this a lot of times with very, very over dieted bodybuilding competitors. Now, this is a completely different format because bodybuilding is not a health sport.
No.
So you're not, this person's working towards their health. But with bodybuilders, when they're very, very dieted, a lot of times coaches, and myself included, will pull their cardio. Now, this is up in the air. Everybody does it differently. But sometimes an intense bout of cardio will really trigger hunger more than not doing the cardio would do for your calorie deficit. Does that make sense?
Yeah. You would eat more to combat the hunger hormones than you would have lost by doing the exercise to begin with.
Yes. And some people have an iron will.
Yeah.
And can still do the cardio and say, you know what?
And just be hungry.
I'm going to be hungry. I'm going to be miserable. Those are the real good bodybuilders because that's really what you need, right? I'll never be a bodybuilder. I'm okay with that.
Me neither.
I'm not.
I don't want to be a bodybuilder. I was
not put on this earth to be a competitive bodybuilder. I'm too hairy.
Neither one of us has the genetics for it or the disposition for it.
But I do love the sport. And
I admire the discipline.
The people that are able to do it.
It is incredible.
Good for you.
Do I want to do it?
No. But that is to like.
I feel that way about almost every sport, though. I can't do any sport, but like I'll watch a sports game and someone will do something really incredible. I'm like, man, that is awesome. Good for them. They've put so much work into being great at football, and he just jumped over a 6-foot human being to score a touchdown, ending in a somersault. Damn, that's great for him.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. I'm never going to do it, but good for that guy.
I think you can appreciate acts of athleticism without being athletic.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I feel the same way about bodybuilding. It's a sport that I don't understand and I never will, and I'm never going to do it. But damn if it isn't cool.
It is cool, but it can be dangerous. All that to say, like, and this is not me saying don't exercise if you're trying to lose weight. It's all in the diet. I'd say it's 70% in the diet. I usually take a diet forward approach with my weight loss clients, but exercise can assist you in so many different ways, mentally and physically, with a weight loss process. Plus, if you're putting on muscle, the muscle is more metabolically active than fat tissue. Yes. So at the end of the fat loss diet, you may find that you'll be able to creep your calories back up to a maintenance level that feels more comfortable for you in your day-to-day without putting on a little bit more of that fat.
Yeah.
So obviously, yes, exercise is important, but not to the point where you are triggering an insane binge episode afterwards.
Right.
Or using it as punishment for a binge eating episode.
Right.
So there you go. Hope we answered your question there. Good luck with it, man. I mean, if you ever watch this, just know we're rooting for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Time for a relationship advice.
Okay.
Another weight loss. What was I thinking here?
A relationship weight loss?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Why is my girlfriend, 22 female, not supporting me, 26 female, joining a weight loss group? Oof. I really need to lose weight. It's not like I need to lose a few pounds. It's literally like I need to lose another person. My life has taken a standstill for a couple of years now, and I've put loads of weight on. I feel like this is the time for me to be starting to turn my life around. I've always struggled with my weight. Back in 2016, I lost a ton of weight, but unfortunately stopped going to my weight loss group. And over the years, I've put the weight back on. It's honestly gutting, but I really need to get back to where I was. I told her I wanted to rejoin the group. She was instantly negative about it. I told her I could walk there for exercise. It's a 26-minute walk. She told me, in reality, you wouldn't make it. You'd be so effed and be too sweaty, and it would take you way longer than 26 minutes. I told her, yeah, it would be a challenge for me at first, but I'm not incapable of it. I've done it before. I explained that a support group really helps me, and that she was just laughing the entire time. The only reason it works is because of fear of them weighing you and you feeling bad at other people watching you get weighed in. Okay. Bearing in mind, she's very overweight too and wants to lose weight also. I just felt like the weightlifting group,
The weight loss group?
Yeah, the weight loss group, she was telling me the weight loss group was being insensitive and unsupportive. It's annoying because I support her intentions of losing weight by calorie counting. I personally struggle that way, but everyone loses weight differently. I just feel irritated and feel like she's thinking that I'll fail, like she doesn't believe I can do it. I don't know how to resolve this if that's just how she feels. That's tough.
That is really tough.
You want to start? I'm going to take a sip of water.
Yeah, take a sip of water. I mean, I think it's so important for partners to feel supported by the other.
You just know how to take the words right out of my mouth, man.
I guess that's
why
we're
on the same page.
I mean, I can't imagine hearing you say that you want to better yourself in some way and laughing at you. Okay. That's horrible.
Here's a counterpoint. You and I have very different body types, and we have very different struggles with weight. Mm-hmm. I understand the concept of seeing someone who is also trying to lose weight and them coming to you and saying, I really want to lose weight. I want to do this thing. And you feeling guilty about not also wanting to do this thing and then lashing out because of that.
Yeah.
So it could be that, yes, she wants you to lose weight, but she doesn't want to be the overweight person in the couple. And, you know, there's a lot of emotions that could be going on with that. Like there was a chapter in my personal training course about this.
Really?
About spousal support. And sometimes because spouses feed off of each other, you usually see weight creep up with both. And so if one person decides to make a change, one of the big resistance is from their spouse because they do not want to be presented with their lack of making a change. It's a difficult situation. That's why there was a whole chapter on how we deal with it.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's really, really tough.
I mean, I would encourage her to do the support group anyway.
Well, I'm with you there as well. But like he said, and this is how I feel, a lot of people deal with weight loss differently.
Yeah.
And
if a support group and accountability is what you feel like is going to help you, do it.
That's the thing for me is like, you need to really communicate to her, like, I have great success doing this style. I really would like to be able to do this style without coming home and feeling judged from you. And I will also support you in your weight loss endeavors.
Yeah.
Like, can we not?
It sounds like we have the same goal and two different ways that we each want to get there.
Yeah.
And this is the way that is going to help me do it. I know that because it's helped me in the past.
Right. You have evidence of it actually helping you in the past. That's the big one.
Like if you change your mind and you want to come, that would be great. But I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I think it's really important in a relationship to still be a person who does your own thing.
Dude, that's a great point.
Like, so your girlfriend isn't, totally on board. Well, it's not
You're
her
an
life.
individual. You are still individuals who have come together as a couple.
Right.
That does not mean you have to do everything together.
It doesn't mean you're not still a person.
You are still a person. No, dude, such a great point from you. You're on it right now. It's a great point.
It's true.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, if she doesn't come around and start supporting it, but you really feel like this is what needs to happen in your life,
you got to do it.
Well, do it.
Yeah.
Don't let somebody. It's just like if you weren't in a relationship, but like you were telling your best friend, like I really want to do this, and you're like, that's kind of stupid. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
And like, no, I need to do this. This is what's best for me to make this positive change, and so I love you. You're my best friend, but I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the same principle.
I definitely feel like it is the same principle, but I feel like
it's a lot harder if you're in a relationship with someone.
It's definitely harder. And
of course it's harder.
Sounds like they maybe live together. I don't know. He's walking from their house. So I don't know. I don't want to put that on them if they're not, but even, it's really difficult to, especially if they live together, to be like, I'm going to my weight loss group. And every time you go, it's like resentment from her. Or every time you come home, it's like, how was weight loss group? It's like, dude, it's hard enough trying to make that change to then have to deal with your partner not being fully supportive of you.
Yeah.
I get where she's coming from. I don't want this to come off as me being like, dump her.
No, but communicate about it.
There it is. How long did it take us to get into the communication? Like 5 minutes into the question.
But yeah, I mean, even just like what you said, like, I really need to do this. This is what I think is right for me. And I would really appreciate it if you could at least pretend
exactly. That's
to
what
be
I was about
supportive.
To say. It doesn't have to be supportive.
You don't have to be excited about it, but
just
if you
don't be
could,
against it.
If you could just not judge me when I get home.
Dude, literally, like I'm not looking for your cheerleading.
I'm not looking for positivity. I'm looking for neutrality.
Just don't tell me I'm going to be too sweaty and it would take me way longer than 26 minutes to walk there.
Like, you know what? Maybe it would take me longer. I'll give myself 40 minutes and have 20 minutes to visit with the people. Before the group starts.
This is really tough.
It'll give me time to towel off before the group starts.
I totally get it. And this is one of the rare ones where I get it from both sides.
Yeah.
Because I do feel empathetic for her. She's the younger one in the group. She's also struggling with weight. Maybe she's not ready to make a weight loss change yet. How he is. Mortality really plays into this. As you start to creep up in age and you start to read all the statistics, you start to face your own battles and be like, man, if I keep holding on to this weight, diabetes, heart disease, that's what really did it for me.
Yeah, and you just start to feel bad, like your joints start to hurt. Like you get older, you just start to feel it more.
Dude, when I was 22, I was 320 pounds, but I was
felt fine.
Spry, dude. Like I could do everything that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
It wasn't until those things that I wanted to do were causing me more pain, that I really wanted to make a change.
Yeah.
Right. Like I didn't make a change until I wanted to powerlift and realized that I couldn't powerlift at the weight that I was currently at.
Yeah.
So it could be that she hasn't found that trigger for herself yet.
That's
and
okay.
you have.
Yeah.
But again, you really have to define, hey, this is really important for me. You don't have to fully support me, but like, I'm going to do this, and maybe don't scream at me or get in my way as I'm doing it. You know?
I think I can't think of a specific example, but I think we've had things like that too, where it's like one of us will say like, oh, I want to do this. And it's like, really?
Have we?
I don't know. I feel like everybody's had that.
I don't remember anything like that.
But it's like, you know what? Just, I really want to do this. So just go with it.
I have always felt fully supported from you in the stupid decisions that I've made. The only one that I could think about, and this is me retroactively thinking about it, is I wish that you had told me not to go to film school.
But at the time, I mean, that was your dream.
Right. It's such a strange thing because that was, if you asked me between 2017 and 2019 what I was going to do for the rest of my life, it would have been some type of filmmaker.
Yeah.
And then almost instantly, overnight, that changed. And I wanted to do this.
Yeah. Everybody's life is a very curvy path.
Only in hindsight could I have said, like, maybe you should have been a little resistant to me going to film school. But
it was 100% your dream.
That's what I mean. Like, I've always felt supported for when I wanted to start this business, when I wanted to start a YouTube channel. You're always go for it.
Yeah.
That I feel like you need that in a relationship.
It is important.
Especially on the male side of it. Like I really, and again, maybe it's not gendered, but for me specifically, I really need a level of support to feel confident or to feel safe in a decision that I've made. So I think that's why we work really well together. I don't know if I've ever told you not to do something or not given you full support. Can't think of anything.
No, I don't think so.
I think you're a genius. So in my mind, you don't need my support. Like, you should know that you already have it, because if you've come to the decision, clearly it's the right decision. That's how my mind works. I'm like, oh, she's thought about it. She knows what's up. It's fine.
I don't think that's necessarily true. But like when I decided to make a big career change, I mean, you were totally supportive of that.
Dude. Oh yeah.
Like even when I thought I was going to like try and go into coding.
Bro, I would have. Yes.
You were totally on board.
You are a genius. And so you had already thought about it. I was like, oh, dude, she can do whatever she wants to do. Like, go for it. That is honestly how my brain works. I think that you have thought about something from every different angle.
I think that's just my anxiety.
That if you have come to the decision, you've done your research.
Yeah.
So I don't need to be the voice of reason in that way. Like, I can be like, I'll be your cheerleader. I'll do whatever you need me to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think that everybody needs a cheerleader.
Yeah, I do too. I hope that they can talk about it a little bit more and come to a better understanding about it. I want to talk quickly about this book.
Okay.
This is, you can't really see it, but this is a supposedly fun thing I'll never do again. It's a collection of essays, and I just finished it. And when I tell you I have not read something that has made me laugh and think at the same time, like some of these essays have, I cannot recommend it enough.
Yeah.
I told my friend group after I finished it, I was like, you guys got to read this. This is awesome. It is challenging. It's challenging. David Foster Wallace, man, he could write some prose.
Yeah.
And there's a lot, like, his TV essay is so fascinating because he was writing about the dangers of television in the 90s. But you can take everything that he's writing about and put it on TikTok, Instagram, social media, and it fits the exact same way.
That's amazing.
Which was it's like so forward thinking. It's just such a great essay. And then his essays about, he goes on a cruise ship, and his essay about going to the state fair, the Illinois State Fair. Some of the funniest observations that you will ever read. I cannot recommend it enough. It's so funny and so good. It was the best book I read in March. And I really hope that some of you guys read it because it's great.
Nice.
It's really great. Do you have anything else that you'd like to discuss with the people? How's your new job? You like it?
It's good. It's really ramped up over the last.
Yeah, you've been working a lot.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks I'm now at like a full caseload, and I'm finished with onboarding. So I'm also helping cover PTO cases and doing discharge cases as well. So I have like full responsibilities on my plate for the first time. So
you're a working woman.
Well, I just am not used to the pace. I've been able to keep up with stuff, at the end of each Friday, I'm like, all right, I finished everything that I needed to do during the week. But both Fridays, it's been a bit of a race to the finish line.
Yeah.
Like, can I finish this by the end of the day? And what my manager always tells me is, you're not going to kill anyone. Yeah. If something doesn't get done on Friday, you're just going to do it on Monday. Yeah. Like it's really okay. So that's always, and she's had to tell me that multiple times.
Well, yeah, I get that. You're
I am
a little neurotic.
A little.
We love you.
It's my primary personality trait. Out of the big 5, number 1, neuroticism.
I think you should take that again.
Do you?
Yeah, because I think agreeableness would be number 1 for you now.
I think they're probably tied.
But
I think I mask the neuroticism with the agreeableness.
That's a great point. I think you definitely do. The Big 5 is this is a whole different tangent, but the Big 5 is the only personality assessment that I give any credence to.
Yeah.
And you can get at me in the comments if you're a Enneagram or what's the other one? Myers-Briggs. The Myers-Briggs is not real. Get that out of it. The Myers-Briggs is just a baby version of the Big 5.
What's really interesting though is in college, I was forced to do the Myers-Briggs for one of my classes, but I looked afterwards, it gives you like other like famous people who are your same. Yeah. Some of my favorite, like every single famous person, I was like, I love their work. I love their work. I love their work. So maybe there is something to it. I don't know.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
And I hate the Enneagram.
Do you?
Oh.
I don't know enough about it to say.
I am a person that does not believe that you can put someone fully in a box.
I understand that.
So that's my issue with personality tests. If you like them, I'm sure you're a great person. I got nothing but love for you.
Yeah.
But I don't.
You don't ascribe to it.
I don't really ascribe to them.
But yeah, I do think I use agreeableness to mask neuroticism.
But
in a lot of ways, it works for me.
It works.
It works for me. But yeah, work has been very busy as I'm trying to get used to what it's going to be like forever.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
How does that feel? Because you like the job.
I do.
You foresee yourself doing this for a long period of time.
Yeah.
Does that feel good, bad, indifferent?
I think I'm someone who always wants to be looking to the next challenge.
Oh, yeah, me too.
So it's kind of a little bit of both. It's like I can see myself doing this for some time.
Yeah.
But I'm already thinking about what's the next thing that I could do.
Yeah.
Like how am I going to use this and get really great at this over the next couple years to be able to do something that's bigger more challenging.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, I've been doing this for 2 months and I'm already trying to think ahead of like, okay, what's next for me? What pivot can I make? What possible lateral moves do I have? What upward moves would I have? Like
crazy.
It's just how I am.
Yeah, I'm like that too, but not in like a corporate structure. Like at LA Fitness, I'm like,
screw it.
I'm chilling as a trainer. Like they were like, do you want to be a sales? I was like, hell no, I don't want to be. But like with my own business and with my content specifically, I cannot turn my brain off.
Yeah, it's like, okay, what equipment could take this to the next level? What topics can take this to the next level? What
certification? What new training? Like all this type of stuff. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, how can I improve my website? How can I improve my social media? Like, what can I do? So I'm kind of having to tell myself, okay, pump the brakes. You don't need to look at the internal job postings page today.
You're right.
Right? Give it 6 months.
Right.
Because I'm like, I wonder what else is going to, it's like, no. You've just been totally fully in it for literally only 2 weeks.
Right.
And you're still having to ask a lot of questions and having all these new situations come up. So, get really good at what you're doing now.
Yeah.
So that when you do want to make your next move,
you can.
It's a shoe-in.
Yeah.
So
I feel you on that. Man, we've been going for an hour.
No way.
I don't know. What's so funny is
I get in a time warp with these.
But a lot of these podcasts that I watch, they have like 5 ad breaks in the middle. So like content wise,
it's like
they're only doing like 35, 40 minutes. We're going the whole hour. We don't even stop for an ad break. That's crazy.
Ooh. Well, hey, sponsor us.
Yeah, we'd love to take on some ads if you've got a product that you think we could sell. We will sell out. No, I'm just kidding.
Nah.
Maybe. All right. That's going to do it for another episode. We hope you have a great week.
Yeah.
What do you want to tell the people?
Have a wonderful week. Work hard. Have fun and be grateful.
And talk to people in your life. Communicate with them.
Tell everybody that you love them. Well, only if you actually love them. Tell the people that you love them.
We love you.
We love you.
Maybe.
We do.
Goodbye.
Bye.